So hello, we've got Chris Bennett and Sam here. They are master's students. Chris graduated this past year, and Sam is going to graduate very soon. I swear it.
Been there.
So they both had films that they made in the past year and a half that have gone on to the festival circuit and have done really well. So they have different experiences, and they're both here to show you what they did, the path that they took, and how they got kind of like their films in certain screenings that were goals of theirs. So I will give it to you guys.
Cool. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris. You guys have seen me before, probably. Been here for a few years. I was a Viz master's student. I graduated this past May. I was in the Viz department, actually, at Newhouse. And Sam, you're in VPA, right?
Yes. So my name is Sam. I almost graduated from VPA in film. I just need to defend my thesis. I'll be done. And yeah, master's student in film through VPA.
Cool. All right, so we're gonna share. Well, I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna we're gonna go back and forth a little bit. So just be prepared. Cool. So everyone see it? Can I get a verbal confirmation? Got thumbs up. Okay, cool. So film festivals, but why? How? Featuring me and Sam. Cool. So film festivals. Why should you submit to film festivals? So if you're in this group, I'm assuming you have made some type of film or have worked on editing or VFX or post-production, something to do with film. You probably made something cool. So you shouldn't just sit on that school project or video. You should probably send it out somewhere so other people can see it too. So what it does is submitting to film festivals. It's a stamp of approval from an objective committee. So your friends might think it's cool, your professor might think it's cool, but what's even cooler is when strangers think it's cool. So it shows like a stamp of approval from a dedicated committee of people, some jurors that they like your film, that they like your stuff, and they want to show it at their festival in their theater. And it looks great on resumes and job applications, having a piece of work that was admitted to a film festival. I was in a seminar for the Atlanta Children's International Film Festival this past summer. And there were a few recruiters there in animation who worked at Awesome Inc. down in Atlanta. And I think there was one Aka studio that's overseas in the UK, some Netflix recruiters there, and they all spoke about how important it is for people in animation, like myself, an animator, to have a short film that's been admitted to festivals on their resume. They take that much more seriously than job applicants who do not have that. So something to think about if you want to continue in this industry. Exposure to an interested audience. So if you get into a festival, people who are going to that festival want to see it. They're not sitting through a lecture. They're not forced to watch it for school. They are interested sincerely into what these new filmmakers are making, and they want to share that experience. They want to either recruit new filmmakers. They want to see what young people are making. If it's a genre film festival like sci-fi or maybe comedy, they want to go see some fun sci-fi. They don't want to see your comedy. They want to see your stuff. They're going to pay attention, and they will go to the festival to watch your things. So you're probably gonna get a laugh, probably get some applause because they're paying attention. It's gonna be fun. And lastly, and most importantly, networking. Networking with fellow artists and filmmakers. So you could find some future collaborators at film festivals. You can find some future employers at film festivals. You can make some friends. You could make some enemies, but you're most likely to make some friends. I'm just kidding, you're not gonna make enemies. I made some friends at the film festivals I went to, and it's a great time to celebrate, each other's work and like give each other compliments and like, follow each other's Instagrams. It's very fun. So network. So what are we talking about here? We're gonna go through the processes. Preparing your film project. What do you got to do? Festival materials. What do you got to make? Online presence. What do you got to do and make online to make sure your film festival, if your film is being taken seriously and people can contact you and research more about it and reach out to you. Research and budget. How do you decide what festivals to look up, and how do you budget for festival fees and submissions and travel? We're going to talk about that as well. Applications and organization. We're going to talk about how you apply, and how to organize. So like to keep it, you know, legit and, you know, comprehensible, because you'll be getting a lot of emails from a lot of different people. You want to keep it organized and separated and budgeted out in a nice little spreadsheet, which I will show you. And networking, we're going to talk about what you can do to make the best out of your festival relations and that sort of thing. And then discussion at the end. So moving right along. Create something cool. That's step one. You probably have already created something cool, whether it's a school project, you have a music video, a short animation, a short film, a feature-length multi-million-dollar blockbuster. Either way, it's probably cool, whatever you made. If it's comes from you, that means it's new, right? So you might as well show some people. Create something cool. I'm sure you've already created something cool or about to. So don't just sit on it, submit it to a festival. Step 1A, is it good? That's subjective, right? I mean, I think it's good. That doesn't mean everyone has to think it's good. And that's true, but there are some objective rules of filmmaking and storytelling that like make it good, right? So they only want to show polished work. They don't want to show some scratchy, shaky camera, unless that's what you're going for, you know, type of film. So are there editing mistakes? Are you breaking the 180 rule? Is it comprehensible? Is the story understood? Audio troubles, is it well mixed? That's a big deal breaker if the audio isn't clearly understood in the theater. Does like music overpower the dialogue? Are the levels okay? Something to really take seriously when finishing your work. Typos, are your credits right? Are there typos in your poster or in your press kit? Do a little spell check so you can, you know, take it a little bit more seriously, and you know they're not going to take something in that you're not taking seriously. So double check your work with credits and whatnot, and closed captioning if you got to do that too. And lastly, a salient message or point of view. So this is a little bit up for interpretation. So you basically want your film to speak to an audience. It doesn't have to be a salient message and that it has to be political or talk about global warming, because sometimes you think of a film festival film and it has to talk about that stuff. That's not necessarily true. Whether it's a story that can connect to an audience, whether it's sentimental or funny or exciting, dynamic, make it have a unique point of view. That's something that you made, that's a story unique to you, and sell it that way. Put a spin on it to make it seem like this is a unique story that's never been told before, even though I'm sure a version of it has, because there are only so many stories, right? But make it come from you and make it, you know, worth their while of giving your film a chance. So make it important to you. Okay, this is the step 2, create a press kit. So I didn't know what a press kit was when I was doing this until I took Shayna's class. So a press kit is basically a documentation summarizing your project, like all technical specs and all the like legit information that like a theater would need to showcase it. And it's also documentation marketing your film. So what film festivals are going to use to market to their festival, right? So like we're going to show your movie. They want to have a poster, right? They want to have a little trailer. If you're making a 40-minute short film, most likely they're not going to watch it unless they see a trailer first, because that's a lot of time and they're not going to sit through that whole thing if it's not that great. So 15-second trailer, I think, is a really important thing to have. A synopsis, most likely a short one, and a spoiler-free short synopsis, and then a spoiler-full, like entire synopsis of what your film is about and what's going on in there. Director's bio, director's note, like an artist statement, your intention behind the work. Production stills that can also be used for marketing and your online presence. Web banners, which are just different dimensions and different photos. A log line, get that elevator pitch going. Get them. You want them to open the book. Put a log line in there, and links to your online presence, whether that's, you know, Instagram, Facebook, your website. You got to be online if you're applying to festivals. It's very, very, very important. Okay, press kit examples. So I'm going to show my press kit, and then I'll hand it over to Sam. So I'm just going to stop my sharing real quick and get my press kit up.
Cool. All right.
Oh, Sam, not yet.
Oh, not yet? Oh, okay. All right.
I was just going to share mine first. That's all.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
all.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is my press kit. It's very, very simple, very, very short, concise. So I did animated short level 1. My last name should be on the cover page at least, but it's not. That's okay. Poster, horizontal, table of contents with film info. You want to have all your specs on here, technical specs, screening format, language, year, film time, runtime, and contact information as well. And then you have your synopsis, director's statement, director's note, links to my website, my other stuff as well. And then we have stills from the film itself. So they can see, get a feel for the look of it. It's very substance over style. It's not very crazy. It's not a magazine. It's just meant to, for the purpose of communicating what your film looks like and is about. So that's my press kit. Sam, you want to share your Film Freeway profile?
Perfect. Okay. So, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, yeah, this is some sort of like a Film Freeway kind of like press kit for my short film I made in 2019. So it's a short film. It's really important to have some sort of like, as it's kind of like echoing what Chris is mentioning so far, that it's very good to have like synopsis, log line. Log line has to be like very short, like 1 or 2 lines. Then have a poster to represent your work. Take some stills from your film or animation or whatever you're working on, and then make your own poster that has the best like presenting your work. Make sure to like mentioning what's your kind of like the credits. What was your role as like a director, writer, producer, whatever you've done for that project. Make sure to like mentioning it in your profile. Director biography, it's kind of very important, I feel, because like I recently got into to become a jury for a festival, and I feel like that when I'm watching a movie or whatever you like submit for that festival, it's kind of like giving me some sort of like information about the background of the director, what they have done in the past, how it's related to them. I feel like it's very meaningful for me, at least, to see what kind of work that person have done and why this film has to be like scored in some sort of like way, which it's gonna be like different kind of like cinematography, sound, the concept that comes to the grading and scoring that film. But it's very important to have it in that section. And as I mentioned, definitely have some sort of like still photos of your film to represent it in a way that you like to. Definitely make sure to, if I go to my profile, those mustaches are real, by the way. Make sure to have like contact info, like the links ready to like, for them to just click and then go to like to your website, to your like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever that represent you as who you want to represent yourself to the industry. And I also wanted to show my website. It's something that you can actually represent what you're doing. Like I feel like that it's really important for you to have some sort of like portfolio, some sort of like vision to sell yourself, so sell your idea and let them know what you're doing, what you have done in the past. So this is what it looks like for me. I had like a couple people like emailing me and saying that it's very peaceful. This kind of like, some of them are just like B-rolls, and it's not even the film that I work on, but as long as it's like visually compelling, I guess you can use it for your website. And portfolio, definitely make sure what you did for each project, and like have some sort of like pay more attention to those kind of like skills that you want to represent yourself, which you're like gonna like figure it out. Like when I started it, I was like mostly working on documentaries, and then eventually made like short films, and now I'm like very eager into like VFX. So after a while, you realize that what you like enjoying the most, what you want to like do for future, and like make sure to like point out in your website. And I guess that's all for me on this one.
Cool.
I'm gonna
Thanks,
pass
Sam.
this, yeah.
All right, cool. So cool. So like Sam was talking about, online presence, it's really important to have a place on the web that people can contact you. I remember Sam saying that most of his contact information via festival was through his website.
Yes.
For me, it happens to be through Instagram. So when you are done with your film, it's important that you, well, I uploaded it to Vimeo, I password protected it, and then I applied to IMDb to make sure they would legitimize it, so I can make an IMDb page for it. Then they can take it legitimately, and then I will start uploading the production stills and the poster to IMDb, and now it looks like it's a real movie, and it's really exciting. So it's on IMDb, then you have an Instagram for it, you got a Twitter for it, and you got a Facebook for it. It's important to build a little base of people following the film, so festivals thinks that it's legit. If it's on IMDb, that's a good verifier to that the project is legit. If it has an Instagram, that gives a way for them to interact with you and tag you in posts if you get into the festival, or a way for you to interact with them. Same thing with Twitter and Facebook. And hey, you made something cool, market it on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. I mean, it's like some people get embarrassed about it, but no one really cares, actually. So I had to do the mortifying thing of asking all of my friends to like a page on Facebook. And you know what? Some of them did, and that was cool. So post things on Facebook, post things on Twitter, post things on Instagram. Again, I've gotten a lot of engagement through Instagram, and I've even gotten fee waivers through Instagram because they saw my stuff, and they'll send me a direct message. Hey, this is Billy Bob from Billy Bob Film Festival. Would you like to apply to our film festival? And I say, sure. And they'll say, here's a coupon to apply to it. And some of those are scams, which we will get into soon. So what can you put on the website? Production stills, like we were talking about before, a trailer, very important. You can put behind the scenes content. That's kind of, you know, if you have it, there's no reason why you should waste it. Post it on Instagram, see the fun behind the scenes stuff. Work in progress pictures, process sequences. If you got it, I say flaunt it, right? Do you need an entire website? That is the question. So Sam and I had a little bit of a conversation about this. I did build an entire website. That was for my master's thesis, which doubled as like my film's website. And Sam, can you remind me, did you have a website for your short film, or did you just use your personal website?
I just use my personal website. I feel like it's hard for me because like each semester I'm making something. It's hard for me to like keep tracking every like even for like Instagram. I just have my like work Instagram.
Yeah.
Just post whatever like I'm making rather than just have like my film Instagram page. But I heard so many people like benefited through having just like for the film Instagram page. But it's hard for me to keep track, you know, each film, you know. That's
For sure. Okay, so yeah, also hosting websites can get expensive if you have more than one, especially. So you have your own personal website that I'm going to assume is like $30 a month, maybe somewhere around there. So I have two of those, so that's like $60 a month. That can be pretty expensive. I do hope to conjoin them. I see that a lot of festivals right now, it will just be like a page on their personal website talking about their film project. For mine, it was different. And actually my website for my short film ended up getting me a few jobs. So that's great. But I feel like there are cheaper ways to do it, not making an entire website. If you want to, I say go ahead. I feel like that's a cool boss move. But I don't think you need it. Again, most of my engagement came through Instagram. I don't think I go to Squarespace and I look at my activity log sometimes and I'll see like 12 people visited in the past like week my website. Meanwhile, I'm getting likes and stuff on Instagram and comments and engagements that feel more real. So you got to have an online presence. You need something on like a web page. I would say have one on your personal website and do it Instagram, a Twitter, a Facebook, and IMDb, wherever you're gonna get people to interact it and see the film, do it. and make sure to interact with festivals and follow the ones you're interested in. So right now we're going to talk about research and budget. So when you're going to apply to festivals, determine how big you want to go. Do you want to go to the Oscars? I don't yet, but I will maybe one day. So if you do want to go to the Oscars, that's going to take a lot of money and it's going to be a little expensive. It's gonna be like $60, $75, $100 submission fees for Oscar qualifying film festivals. And we're going to look at that, I think, very briefly on Film Freeway in just a moment. But it's important to discuss, like, do you want to do like an underground cool film festival scene? Most likely free to $3, and like everyone, it's like maybe in someone's garage and everyone's like, you know, causing a ruckus. Or maybe like you want to like do a healthy mix where you want to like, hey, maybe I'll go to New York and go to that film festival, but maybe I'll also go to that guy's garage too and network and stuff, do a little mixed bag. So determine how big you want to go, how small you want to go. What's your personal goal with the project, right? Yeah, so my budget for my film was like, it started out as like 400, 500 bucks and ended up getting a little bit more. And that came out of just my own finances. But Sam, you, I know, applied to some grants. Do you want to talk about that first a bit?
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna like furthermore in the slides, we're gonna talk about how addiction gonna bring to your style when you're applying for like festivals. So at the beginning, it was like, yeah, festivals, apply. And then at some point I was like, wow, 800 bucks. So I started to like applying for grants to be able to kind of like take them kind of like back somehow. So it happens that VPA has some sort of like creative opportunity grants, and also the which it's you can like apply for it and say it's not a grant to finish your film. It's a grant specifically to apply for festivals or like art museum or whatever major you are in, to actually go to those festivals and present your work, which is great. And I think the max that they will give you, it's something around $800 to $700. But if you have like I had a documentary, which is a feature documentary, and they said, okay, here you go, like $1,000. You didn't hear it from me, but so you can actually like negotiate based on the length of your film or your work. Also, there is another grant, Brian Buckley grant. It's also through VPA. I'm not sure if they have it in Newhouse or not. That one is pretty cool as well. It's for grad students only, in second and third year students only. And they actually it's a much bigger budget, and that's actually specifically, it's more they're going to give you the money based on the film you want to make. So I raised money through Brian Buckley grants, and I also like used the spare amount of the money that I had at the end of the project, and actually like tried to like put it in my like applying for festivals. Nobody's gonna say no, but the criteria that you want to apply for that grant, it's just to like filming your film, shooting it. So I guess in general, I received something around $800 for this short film, not others. So $800 was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, that's sweet. Makes me feel silly for not doing that before I graduated, but oh, cool. It's all good. Yeah, they get expensive, and also you're gonna go on a spending spree real quick because you're gonna get really excited about and see what places you can go and things you can see. So now we're gonna do some. How do you research what festivals you want to look at? So there's probably some you've heard of. You've probably heard of like Sundance. You've probably heard of South by Southwest. Those are very big, very, very cool. But I suggest that you look at something a little bit more niche if it's especially your first time in the circuit. If you're making student work, there are student film festivals. There are plenty of film festivals in New York, not even just New York City, but central New York. There's, I know there's Blackbird right in Cortland. There's Ithaca, I believe, has a festival. I think Syracuse has a film festival. I just was at, I didn't go to, but I got accepted into the Cayuga Film Festival in Auburn, central New York. So there are things local and you should look into it. So we're gonna go to Film Freeway real quick. Okay, and just in case if you guys don't know, Film Freeway is like almost like the common app for like college applications, but it's for film festival stuff. So you saw Sam's profile of what his like project looks like, and like this is what mine would look like. And then you can look at your submissions, but we're gonna look at browsing festivals and like the search engine kind of quality. So like say I did an animated film. I'm looking for film festivals, open only, because I want to apply right now. And I want the entry fee to be, I want it to be free. I want it to be $0. Years running, I always do too, you know, because the first year of a film festival, you don't know if that's real. So I always do too. And then project runtime, any. And then you can pick its focus as well. Is it for children? Is it a comedy? Is it based on dance? Is it an underground? Is it sci-fi, fantasy thriller, religious? There's so many genres of film festivals. I know there's also virtual reality festivals, there are poetry festivals where video projects are included. There are so many around the country and around the world that there is a niche for your festival. Take advantage of it. If you're a Black filmmaker, if you're a queer filmmaker, if you're from New York, I mean, they're going to want local New York filmmakers. If you're from somewhere else, but you go to school in New York, use that advantage like I did, because I have some New York festivals. I also have some Wisconsin festivals because I'm based out in Wisconsin. So take advantage of where you're at, and you know, yeah, do that. So region, country, I like to do inside the United States. And then you hit search and see what pops up. So there are literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of festivals. If you click on one, Oink, Official Impromptu Northern Kentucky Film Festival, let's click on it. Looks cool to me. Running for 6 years, seems legit. How are the reviews? Only 2 reviews, okay. And it takes place in Highland Heights, Kentucky. You get to see, I basically spent so many hours looking at different festivals and seeing which ones I would want to go to and which ones I wasn't interested in. And you can make a watch list. So if you hit this little heart, it'll be added to your watch list. And how do I get to that?
On that, yeah, on the top, yeah.
Over here?
Oh, there we go, yeah. It's gonna show you watch
Okay, this
list.
is my watch list, okay. So like deadlines are coming up for these ones that I haven't submitted to. And I'm out of money, so I'm not going to submit to these. But if I did, maybe I would. So it's important to like add things to your watch list, have things on your radar, and kind of research and have a really fun time imagining what film festivals you might get into, which ones you might not get into. You can even go to their websites. I like to do that and see what projects they've accepted in the past to see if yours are like around the same caliber. I think that's a great method to think that's worth applying to. If they're legit like studio filmmakers applying and getting in, and you're just a student by yourself, maybe think about aiming a little lower and saving your $20 or $25 for something else. So I'm gonna go back to the presentation real quick. Organize. Make a spreadsheet. So after applying to all these festivals, you could look at them all in Film Freeway, and that's totally fine. But if you really want to get the most out of your time and money, you're going to want to organize and budget and plan and have some data to look at. So I made a spreadsheet. So if you go to Film Freeway, actually, here, I'll show you real quick. Watch list, I can go to submissions. And I like to do it by notification date. So these are all the things I've applied to. These are ones I've not selected. These ones are selected. You can just ignore all those black dots. But I've gotten into a few. They say that if it's your first time going into a festival, you can expect to get into like 10%. And I've reached around that mark thus far. So that's pretty cool. And then let's go to my spreadsheet. So I got festival name, where it's at, the price, when they're going to let me know, when the festival takes place, whether I'm selected or not, a contact info, is it based in the United States, did I go or not, and then some extra notes here. So nice and color coded. It's a nice way to just keep a sum of how much money you're spending, such as $800. Which ones you can attend if there are date conflicts that you can't attend, maybe it's not worth applying to. If there are things that are virtual, there are just online festivals. That is very convenient, especially everyone's remote now. I've gotten to a few of those and I've been able to attend virtually, which has been very cool. It's just a very easy way to organize. I was able to go to New York for my Animation Black Party Festival. I was able to go to Pittsburgh for this Short Fest Festival. I was not able to go to Canberra, Australia for the Comic-Con, unfortunately. I would have loved to, but very cool either way. I wasn't planning on going, but it's just a nice way to lay out your information. And then you can make some cool data tables like these. So this is my selected versus not selected and undecided. Not so bad. Number of festivals versus price range. So as you can see, most of the festivals I applied to were free. A lot of things in Europe and overseas are $0 to enter. They have a lot of public funded, festivals and organizations. Over here, you have to usually pay a little fee, especially depending on bigger ones. My $160 submission fee was the Chicago International Children's Festival, which I did not get into, but I would have been able to go. I live very close. I thought I would reach for it. I don't think it was a waste of money. It was just a little reach. You simply apply to schools. Account of USA based. I was just curious about this. Applying overseas, it can happen, absolutely, especially if it's free. Why not apply? But I noticed that most of my acceptances have been in the United States. So just something to think about it. If you're spending $25 for an overseas festival in Italy and you're not able to go to Italy, maybe keep your $25 and save it for something else. If there's somewhere around the block from you that costs $25 that's showing some fun stuff, try that one instead. And if you don't get in, go anyways and have a good time. It's probably be worth your while to check out the other local filmmakers and network with them. So this is just a fun thing to do. Let's look at some data and see where the money's at, how it splits up. And you end up applying to a lot of festivals. So once you're organized, you just start applying. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be addicting. You're going to love it. You're going to hate it. You're going to be addicted. You're just going to knock yourself out. It's going to be awesome. It's really, really fun. And it's going to cost you some money. But again, if you apply for grants and stuff, that can help you out.
I just wanted to add something regarding the travel grants.
Yeah.
So GSO, it's a graduate student organization in Syracuse University that everyone has access to. So if you're applying for somewhere and you want to actually attend to it, there is a grant. It's a travel grant that you can apply for, and they can give you maximum $500. I received something around $400. So definitely reach out to those resources that you have at school, because you're gonna get something out of it.
Yeah, I've actually applied to festivals and they've offered some compensation with travel. I think I got $100 subsidy to help me drive to Kansas City, which actually would have been cool, but I had another something planned that weekend as well. So if you get to a festival, they might help you travel there. They might give you some, or you might win an award. That is a great way to win money, but don't expect to win an award. Just have a good time with it. Network. Okay, this is the most important part about festivals. You got to network. That's the whole point. You want to get your work out there so you can continue to make cool stuff and potentially get paid for it, right? I think that's the goal. So advertise your selections on social media. You can just do a still frame from one of your production stills with a nice little laurel that you can make in Film Freeway, or they'll send to you. And it'll just let other film festivals know and all of your followers know and other filmmakers and artists that you got into a festival. And that's great. And it's it's current, it's getting into stuff, it's being seen. It's an active piece of art, and that makes it exciting and cool. Interact with festivals online. When I was researching festivals, I made sure they had an Instagram or an active website or a Twitter account, and I was following them with my film account already. So if I applied to them, they're like, okay, level 1, this looks like a fun short film. Let's look at their Instagram. Oh, they're already following us. There you go. They're already thinking about you. You're already in their circle. It's a great way to interact and get on their desk, get in their face a little bit, interact with their stories, like if they post things to their stories or to Twitter, send it a like, reply to it, be like, that's exciting. Be present. I was close to getting to a festival in Norway, in Volda, Norway, because I loved their stuff and I interacted with them with Instagram a bunch. I was not selected. I sent them a message saying, hey, if there's a free space available or someone drops out, let me know. I'd love to be a part of it. And they got back to me saying, oh my gosh, we thought you were selected. We must have run out of room, because it was a misunderstanding, I suppose. They recognized my name from interacting with them so much, but I was like on the finalist list, but I didn't make it to I guess, exhibition. So that's totally fine. But maybe next year, I'm on their radar. So reach out to filmmakers about their work. There was a festival, the Warsaw Animation Festival in Poland. It was like $5. So I applied to it. I did not get in. I saw who was applied, and I saw Owen Klatt. He's an animator. He's worked on some Disney stuff. He was admitted with his stop motion film called Of Wood. And, oh, sorry, didn't want my computer to die. He was accepted into the festival. I reached out to him because he lives in Wisconsin. And I said, hey, I saw you went to this festival. I'm also from Wisconsin. Congratulations. I would love to see your work. And he sent me not only the film, but some contacts in Milwaukee and other people that I could potentially freelance with in the future with animation. Only because I emailed him, I saw his name, and then I reached out. So if you like someone's work and it looks cool, reach out, send them an email, say, I think that looks cool. If you received that email, you would feel great. It was like, give them compliments, give them kudos, build that relationship, reach out, it's worth it, it'll pay dividends. And hot tip, apply local. Festivals want to showcase good work, of course, but also they want to put their butts, they want to get butts in seats. They want you to come to the festival. They want to fill up the theater. They want to come with people, invite your friends, apply local, get to know the people who are making films in your area, and network with them. It's great. And lastly, have fun. You made something cool. Other people liked it. That's cool. And don't worry about awards. If you don't win awards, that's okay. You should celebrate being nominated. Absolutely. You made something, people watched it. That's all anyone ever wants, really. So, I mean, think about the billion-dollar movies that no one never sees, It's cool. Okay, and a quick discussion. So this is up for debate. If anyone wants to scream out their answers, do you think festivals are worth the money? Do you think they're worth $800, $1,000 for us poor graduate students and undergraduate students?
I mean, it depends, and I think the way you laid it out with the like doing a reach on some festivals and spending more for a particular reason, if there's something that about that festival that's absolutely perfect for your work, and you're gonna spend more money on that. But I think you could see it on Film Freeway quickly that if you apply early and you stay organized, you can not spend a lot of money and apply to a ton of festivals. It's possible, certainly.
Yeah, I don't know. I forgot if we said this or not, but applying early to festivals will save you hundreds of dollars. Early bird is what they call it. That's the reason why Chicago festival was like $60, is because it was happening within a few months. If I had applied like back in January, it would have been like $20 or something. So definitely important to apply early and organize that way. Some people like to argue it's like, well, I could put $800 in Facebook ads and try to get views on YouTube. Something to think about. Oh, how do you identify festival scams? Sam, do you have anything, any stories about this?
Yeah, actually, like, so when you go to like Film Freeway, you definitely like see lots of like, when you like, for example, when you type like Cannes Film Festival, there are like bunch of Cannes Film Festival show up. So I'm not saying that all of them are like scam, but some of them might be. So many like those scam film festivals normally use like confusing name and similar to like real big festivals to kind of like, make you to pay money. So like make sure those festivals are actually exist. definitely like check on their locations. I remember I was like searching one of the locations of the festival and it was like nowhere. So I was like, definitely it's a scam. So don't apply for those. We talked about like admission fees. I've never seen anything like more than $100. So if some sort of like festival charge you for like 120 or something above 100, double check on it. And definitely make sure to like see the reviews on Film Freeway. So like do your research. Also, there is a section to the left under the name of the festivals on Film Freeway that shows the organizers, contact information, emails, that kind of stuff. Google those people. Let's see if they're real or not. Those are something that you can actually see if it's the festival is a scam or not. And there is like bunch of like festivals outside of the United States, and which lots of them are like great and they're like very well known, but some of them they would like say that, hey, like one example was like Shayna was telling me that they force the person to actually come to the festival, otherwise they wouldn't like give the $10,000 award something. So those can be like, you know, like judge it yourself, like do your like research. Definitely if you know someone on that region, like a filmmaker or something, like we have like I think we had the privilege of having lots of like international students in my class. So I remember one of my works got into some sort of like South Korea country, and I was like, hey, is this festival well known in your country? And she was like, yeah, that's great, like definitely go for it. So if you know someone, if you have a friend or connection that you can ask in that region, that can be something that to like, you know, add to your research.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, go for it.
I was gonna say that some people have offered me like, if you pay us $100, we'll post your interview on our website, and it's like I don't think that's true. I've seen like a lot of awards like email me, it's like 75% off, like right now, like go apply immediately, offer ends soon, and it's like it's still like it's like it's $100 without a discount, but it's $25 now. It's like that's not legit. I've also gotten emails with like plenty of typos being like, apply to our festival. We have like the best things. It's only $7. It's like I don't know. Yeah, it's you can tell them, you can pick them out of a lineup. There are some online festivals that are a little fishy as well. Just do your proper research, make sure their website looks legit. If it looks like it's from 1990, maybe email them, like at least talk to a person before you apply to it, and not like a robot, I think is the best case scenario.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And yeah, why submit to festivals when you can get exposure online? Anyone have an answer? Kind of addressed it.
Peer review. You have validation. That's an important one.
Validation, that's right. Like what is 100,000 views on, well, actually 100,000 is pretty good, but what is 100,000 strangers know about filmmaking? Who knows about like on YouTube, which is great, but if you have other filmmakers and jurors identify your film as an award winner or worthy of showcasing, that's the stamp of approval you're looking for. So that's kind of the purpose of film festivals, you know, showcase good work and, you know, move up in the filmmaking industry. Cool. And we have some links. That's my short film website, that's my website, and we have Sam's websites as well listed down here.
Yeah, last one is a kind of like a LinkedIn video I watched regarding to get some sort of like what else can be scam festivals. So that video actually gonna help a lot. So.
Cool. Yeah.
Are you gonna share the slide deck or post those in the chat?
But yeah, I think we're gonna share the slide deck in the Slack.
Yeah.
I can also copy paste it here in the chat too if you want.
Yeah, we can put it in the chat
I
as
mean,
well.
Thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Does anyone have any questions? I'll stop my share. Or any like, you know, our experiences or any general questions for their own projects or anything?
Yeah, I'm wondering like how long, like, are you supposed to not post your work while it's being like either judged for a nomination or like if it even gets in, like how long do you have to keep your work like under wraps before you can show it to people or like post it on YouTube?
That's a great question, Max. So usually it's a year. Some festivals don't have rules about that. Whether it's like if it's available online, they'll still showcase it. Some of them do. They don't want it to be publicly accessible or available for people to see. So there's also something to think about is premiere status. That's more of a thing for maybe higher level filmmakers like studios and stuff. If you want to premiere at a certain festival, maybe like Sundance or like one of the bigger ones, they would want to be the festival to premiere. Has it premiered before somewhere else? If so, will not showcase it or make it our headliner. So I guess like the general answer would be a year. I know like my last festival will probably be in the early summer, which is around when I finished it in May. So yeah, but I mean I share the password with friends all the time, like the video to like show people. And like that filmmaker Owen, he like sent me his film that's going through circuits right now that's password protected. So don't feel like you can't like share it with people. Just like, yeah, YouTube isn't might downgrade it a little bit if you're applying to a lot of festivals, especially higher end ones.
Also, I guess like check with like the rules on each festivals, because some of the festivals have different rules for student work. So if you're like seeing some sort of like potential of getting in Sundance or whatever, sometimes they have like student kind of like waiver for the premiere of your film. So make sure to actually read those rules section of each film festival. That's gonna help.
Yeah, make sure your festival isn't for high school students.
Oh yeah.
Like I did that once.
I want to
Cool, thank
add
you.
for the student work that, for example, Ben just applied for something. Do you want to talk about that? The rules that it had to be specific school year?
Yeah, I had to be a recent graduate. I had to finish the work within a certain period of time, so essentially during my semester. And all the production had to take place during school, so there's lots of rules and requirements about that stuff as well.
So like his window for applying has ended. Like since he graduated already, the clock's ticking.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Also students get a lot of discounts or applying to festivals as well. That's so if you're graduating in the spring, try to apply that summer to some stuff. You'll save some money and be eligible. Yeah, usually they don't want to showcase stuff that's over a year old because they think that it's already been shown. So that's yeah, good stuff. Anyone else? No. When you apply to festivals and you do get in, they send you laurels. They look really cool. So that's something to look forward to. So if you don't do it for yourself, do it for the cool laurels you post in your poster.
And updating your press kit and stuff to include that, like on the lead graphics and stuff, is a nice thing to do. The festivals usually supply you with a nice high quality transparent PNG or a vector file that you can use, and it helps. I mean, even if you have a mix of relatively obscure and some better known festivals, it helps to kind of further promote your film through the kind of bandwagon effect.
Yeah, totally. I actually here I'll actually show my did I show this? I don't know if I did. So like you can watch it here. It is password protected. If you guys want the password, I'll tell it to you. And here's like the poster that's like I have an updated poster with all the laurels here so people can check it out and see that it's like making its way downtown, walking fast. Anyone else? We got a few more minutes.
I just want to follow up on the like because I'm looking at this link, the LinkedIn video that you posted, Sam. I appreciate that.
Sure.
That is because like there's so many festivals on Film Freeway, like it is relatively easy to drop, 10, $15 on something that's not really a film festival or something that you shouldn't really be spending your money on. The way they have year running is a great way to do initial vetting. So it's a festival that's been established for 10 years is probably going to be relatively dependable. Also, I think they introduced this somewhat recently, like gold status for festivals. You can also kind of see a special status for something that's a very well established film festival, certainly worth your time. So yeah, it does take a little bit of, I really appreciate the advice on like actually looking up the names and Googling those people. I think that's an excellent way to really vet the quality of a festival, but that's something to really think about when you're applying to many festivals on Film Freeway.
Yeah. Also, additionally, there are some festivals that aren't on Film Freeway. Animation Block Party, for example, had like, which was a festival in New York, was had like a 1 month window to apply. I would check the website occasionally and say their applications were closed. Turns out they were open one day, and I said, "Oh my gosh, I could apply this month," so I did, and that was like my favorite festival I've been to thus far. So there are some festivals that are legit that are not on Film Freeway. So go to some different blogs, like look around the internet, scope out what do you think you can go to, what do you think you'd want to go to, and yeah, check it out.
Yeah, ask your faculty as well. So many of them have been in festivals, have been submitting their work, so they might have some sort of like, suggestions. Also, I wanted to mention something about the category of applying for festivals. Sometimes like based on your film, if it's like LGBT or a student or like or international, maybe by applying for like different categories, you're gonna have like a better chance to get into like maybe like top tiers. So that can be something to consider as well.
Cool.
And are there any like real competitors to Film Freeway anymore? I mean, I used to use Without a Box, and it's history.
Yeah, that was the
there-
one before.
Yeah, are there any current I haven't heard of any.
I don't know of any either. Other than like film festivals just doing it themselves. I know like Short Fest, Monstra out in Lisbon, and Animation Block Party. Those are 3 I applied to that were not through Film Freeway, which is why it's nice also to have a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So it's separated.
And did you find those festivals through social media, through web search? Like, how do you find them?
Yeah, that was just web search. Sam, how did you find yours?
Well, for me, it was the combination of like Film Freeway, some like faculty suggestions, and also like once in a while, the whole VPA department will send out some sort of like festivals to apply, which they actually like reached out to like Kara or whoever is in charge, and they send out some sort of like waiver for students. So it was some sort of combination of all of them.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, cool. All right, cool. Well, if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out. I mean, you have the websites posted in the chat. We'll post the slides also in the Slack. My email's available, obviously, and I'm sure Sam's on campus running around somewhere.
Yeah.
If you want to go tackle him, go for it. Ask him a
What-
question.
So one important thing, just like kind of, I don't know, philosophically about projects and student work is often, especially for like capstone work too, often like it's like feels kind of rushed at the end, and you have this product that you squeak out the door and it's like, okay, I got it. Ooh, that was intense, but I'm done. Like, don't just let it sit there. Like, immediately finish that out and try to get it to the next step. The momentum will sustain it. Like, once you get submitting it to some festivals, that momentum will sustain it for the year or even 2 that it can run. But if you don't do that and you let it sit for 6 months, chances are you're not going to do anything else with it. So even for non-capstone, like just semester work, big semester project, same thing. You're done with it. It's time for summer, whatever, wipe your hands of it. Consider submitting it to a few film festivals at least to kind of get that process started. It's really, it's a great way also to kind of finish out your work, polish it, and get it out there in front of the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely polished after my master's thesis. I polished a few other things before submitting it to festivals. It definitely keeps you busy, and it's definitely don't let that momentum die out just yet. You already spent so much time on the project. Why not spend an extra week researching and see what festivals you can do? You know, it's worth it.
I'll also say that some festivals, what you're submitting for your application is not what you screen. So submit something that's a work in progress so that if they like it, they'll let you in, but then you have the opportunity to give them an actual screening worthy copy later. So you have time to finish.
And if it's compelling up front from that draft, they'll reach out, ask about it, find out where it's at, find out when you can have it to them. And once you have that human contact, it becomes a little bit easier.
It also gives you a deadline.
Yeah, exactly. Powerful thing, those deadlines.
Does anyone have work that they're trying to submit?
Rowan, cool. What do you have? Muted.
Well, I just asked a question, but I'm working on a documentary right now. And I guess so that has to go with my question. Like, what about copyright issues? Like, I am trying to buy stuff right now. The school has been buying stuff for us. But if there's any other copyright issues that we might have missed, how do they like tell you, or do you not like get in, if that's a problem?
Yeah, that's a great question. I owned all the copyrights to all my stuff, including I hired my friend to do the music, so I didn't have to worry about stuff like that. I know you can pay like some licensing fees for like music that you got from online, like Academic Sound or like a sound library and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not sure how to like acquire copyright stuff that might be like up in the air. Sam, do you know anything about that?
Yeah, like music, it's a huge thing, I guess, if you're like using someone else. But I guess for like top tier festivals, they're more strict about this stuff. Other festivals, they play cool. But it actually happened that, like, for example, one of my faculty actually submitted her film in one of like the festivals in San Francisco, and then there was a art behind the main actress, which the artist came out and say that art is in that scene, so you're not allowed to screen it because you have to pay me. So it's, it might happen in some cases, but in general, like top tiers are the most restrict one, I believe.
So I'll say just on music, Rowan, when we negotiated a new contract we used Epidemic, but then we moved to Megatrax. In that contract, we negotiated that students had festival submission to the library they had access to for their work, had festival submission releases for everything but the major circuit festivals like, Venice, Cannes, Sundance, like those ones. So once that's an issue, you're reaching out to them anyways, and you're discussing licensing fees at that point, which can be considerable. But if you have something showing in Sundance, hopefully your dean's office will step up to be like, holy crap, let's help you out and get this thing screened. But I know with music, that's kind of the a common way it's gone about, just licensing, contacting whoever is holding those copyrights and negotiating that. Are you talking in documentary work though, like archival, or what specifically are you thinking about?
Yeah, archival. We actually just bought footage from what was it called? Shayna, the Tim gave it to me. It was critical past, and it's like a website where they have Library of Congress stuff, but it's like a lot shorter. So we bought stuff there that Newhouse paid for, thank God. And then we're also working with one of the memoirs by this woman who like wrote her entire story. She has a lot of images, so we're working on getting licensing fees for that. But we're worried we want to do some, you know how documentaries have like news clips that they use to like bring the present into the past. I'm gonna talk to some professors about it, but like if we could use that. And I guess my thing is, if you do end up using stuff that might be copyrighted, would you get flagged like by those by the film festivals?
In the context of documentary work, a lot of that stuff falls under fair use. So especially if you're obtaining it through things like Library of Congress, or if it's a specific archive that you're working with the archive to discuss use, I think that often you'd be okay. I think Sam's point is a good one, though, is that given the profile of the festival, that's what will largely determine how much scrutiny those things fall under. So if it's a lower profile festival, less scrutiny; higher profile, you're going to certainly have more scrutiny. But are you working with a documentarian at SU?
No, we're not. That's
Okay.
But I'm actually taking like my law class now, so I'm
Sure.
gonna speak to my law professor because we just learned about fair use today.
Cool.
So that's kind of what I was just wondering if it's a problem in film festivals. But
Yeah, I'm curious
Mhm.
too, just on the documentary side of things. I know a guy I work with, John Scott, just sold a documentary on this poet Elizabeth Bishop, to like PBS and CBC and stuff. And so he would have a good idea as to what goes into that, because there's a lot of archival in that, both from a few like private archives, but also like Library of Congress stuff. So yeah, I'll talk to him about it. I'd be interested to find out, and I can follow up with you.
oh my God, that would be so amazing. Thank you so much.
For sure, absolutely.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
A lot of the Film Freeway rules, they talk about how make sure you own the copyright, or like it's a non-conflict issue in the festival. It's like part of the rules. So if you think there's like an inkling of it being a problem, they'll probably be like, we're not going to risk it for that purpose. However, if it's all sorted out beforehand and you're like, no, it's cool, someone will probably reach out to you and ask about it, and you'll say it's cool, and things will move on as planned, is what my guess is. But yeah, they list that in like all of the rules for festivals about copyright. Like, make sure you're not playing someone else's movie.
Well, Ben, for example, who had to leave, he has an issue that he has cover songs that he performs of famous songs. So he still has to get licensing for it, but it's
Yeah.
not the expensive licensing, it's the lower cost one. But he still has to do that. So it's still like, talk to whoever your entertainment law professor is, and they'll be your best friend for it.
Also, sometimes when you like reach out to actual artists, they're cool about it. Like I had the music on my documentary actually, and then I reached out to this singer and this songwriter, which both was herself, and she was like, sure, using it, but as long as it's not commercial, so as long as I'm not selling my work, she's cool with it. But as soon as I start like making money out of it, then I have to pay for it.
I have noticed though that like indie label level artists, reaching directly out to the artist through their social media or whatever, many of my students just doing like course project work or whatever, usually with the specification that this is non-commercial, they'll be happy to grant those rights. But it's important to get them, certainly. Like getting money, but it's earmarked for specific things. Sometimes you got to just think creatively in the way that you use that money. Also, talking to your dean's office about grants available, but also grant opportunities. They can often connect you with a person at your school who specifically deals with student grants, research grants, stuff like that, where they can get you information, get you connected to resources online to find additional grants. Yeah, it's, again, it doesn't hurt to ask, reach out. the money is around, though maybe a little bit more scarce than it used to be.
Cool. Well, we are way over. So
Oh yeah, geez. Well, thanks so much, Sam and Chris. That was awesome.
Of course, yeah.
Gets me inspired to do some additional submissions soon. And you keep up the pace heading into tenure soon.